Hey y'all, this is Tonetta with Tonetta Buys Houses. I'm here with you with another video from the Landlord-Tenant Law, the workbook of Missouri from the Attorney General. And this video is talking about evictions. I know we've talked about several different things, of course, in this book. And like I said, you can definitely order your book, of course, as well at the Attorney General's website, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt, his website. They, of course, have them for free, and they can, of course, send you one for free, or you can just download it. So I downloaded mine. So like I said, we've definitely talked about obligations of both the landlord and the tenant or the renter inside the apartments. We've talked about, of course, the Missouri law, the written lease, the oral lease, the expiration of lease, the subleasing, security deposit, and repairs was the last video. So like I said, this part we're talking about evictions. And I do want to remind you again with me, Tonetta Buys Houses, I just want to remind you all again that, of course, if you know someone that is looking to, of course, sell their house and because of some type of need, whether it's foreclosure or they've inherited property that they did not want, or they're getting a divorce and they no longer want to stay in the home, or they just have property that they're managing and they no longer can take care of it and manage it. Definitely, like I said, send them my way. You can send them to this page and they can leave me a message here, or there's a phone number listed here as well. They can call me here as well. I'm based out of St. Louis, Missouri, but I do wholesaling and real estate investing across the whole entire U.S. So if you know somebody that stays here in Missouri or another state, definitely send them my way, y'all. And let me get into the evictions. So eviction. A landlord may not evict a tenant without a court order. Make sure that you all know that. I know I'm a social worker as well. I've been a social worker for a little bit over 20 years. And I worked in about 10, almost 11 years in the transitional housing program and ran the apartment program as well. And of course, we had a lot of young ladies who were transitioning out and that kind of thing, and some of them were going to their own apartments, and the ones who were going to their own apartments, I was doing some of the life skills classes and teaching these different things about leasing and renting and what it means to be a tenant, evictions and stuff like that as well. But just had to keep reminding them that your landlord cannot just give you a written note and just tell you to leave the apartment and that you're evicted. There is no eviction process that goes like that. Some of them did of course follow what the landlord said with the note and that kind of thing, but like I had to reiterate 1,000 times to them that your landlord cannot evict you without a legal court order. I don't care what he or she says. And landlords, make sure that you're listening to this as well, because I'm, of course, making sure that our folks here know this, whoever's renting, and make sure that you know this law as well. And, of course, for me knowing this law, because I'm going to be, of course, a landlord soon. So, like I said, I definitely have to make sure that I know the laws and that you all know the laws and that people who are renting from you know the laws, that you cannot just evict somebody without a court order. We all know that, and legally you cannot do that without that. So that's what this book says as well. And like I said, if that's happening to you, make sure that you reach out to Legal Services of Eastern Missouri. They have a housing attorneys and people who can assist you for free as long as you fit their criteria, and they can take on your case at this time. So definitely reach out to them. They're located in St. Louis City, I believe, on Forest Park. I don't have the number offhand, but I will get that number for you all to post up in the description of this video as well. So let me read that again. A landlord may not evict a tenant without a court order. The landlord may begin eviction proceedings if a tenant, if you're doing these things in your apartment, the landlord can, of course, start the proceedings or start the process to evict you out of that apartment. If you are damaging the property, if you fail to pay your rent, if you violate the terms of the lease, injures the leaser or another tenant, allows drug-related criminal activity on the premises, fails to vacate at the end of the lease term, gambles illegally on the property, allows a person to reside on the property whom the landlord has previously excluded. Let me read that list again. If you are in an apartment and you're going through any of these things or doing any of these things, the landlord does have the right to, of course, go ahead and start the eviction process. They don't have to let you know anything if they don't want to, but they definitely have to start the eviction process. You know what your lease is. You know what you're required to do while you're in that apartment. And if you're not doing those things, that's, of course, breaking your lease. So like I said, these things, your landlord can, of course, start the legal proceedings to, of course, evict you and remove you from their apartment, from their property. If you're damaging the property, fail to pay your rent, violate the terms of the lease, injures the leaseor, another tenant, like in the building, allow drug-related criminal activity on the premises, whether it's you or somebody else that you're having at your place, it does not matter. But if you are allowing somebody to come to your house and they're selling drugs or doing something like that or shooting folks or whatever it is, you can be evicted for that as well. So keep that in mind. It's not just for you, but it's for your guests as well. Fails to vacate the apartment at the end of the lease terms, gambles illegally on the property, allows a person to reside on the property whom the landlord has previously said they cannot come there anymore. Says that the tenant will receive a notice that an eviction lawsuit has been filed and will have the opportunity to be heard in court before any eviction. Keep in mind, any eviction that your landlord is starting on you, yes, you will get a summons to go to court. Yes, you can, of course, go to court. I would really advise you to go to court. If you don't go to court, that means that you agree with everything the landlord has said, and they can evict you, I believe, is within a week, a few days to a week, actually, out of that apartment. So you want to make sure that you're at court, of course, speaking your piece, saying what's going on, making sure that you can get more time if you need to, of course, find other housing and that kind of thing. They won't give you past 30 days, I don't believe, but you can definitely ask. I guess I put it that way. But when they're going for eviction, usually the eviction takes place within, I think, 3 to 7 days after that court hearing. So make sure that you keep that in mind, y'all. Then it says Missouri law allows landlords to remove persons who are not lawfully occupying the property. So that means that anybody who is not lawfully occupying the property, who's actually the person who's renting the apartment, the landlord can, of course, have them removed from the property. I guess I put it that way as well. So just keep that in mind. Whether they call the police if they're selling drugs or doing something else outside, the landlord can't call the police. It's their property. They're paying for that. That's their land. They can do as they please. And they can have that person removed. I'm trying to make sure. I think that's it for this, y'all. So I just want to make sure that you all know that in any eviction process, your landlord does the main things. Your landlord does have to, of course, have a court order in order to evict you from anybody's apartment, any apartment that they own, property that they own, anything like that. And, of course, like I said, there are certain things that the landlord can, of course, apply for an eviction for, especially if you're damaging the property, not paying your rent, not, of course, abiding by the lease, having folks there selling drugs or you selling drugs or whatever it is, any kind of criminal activity. Just keep all those things in mind. The landlord does have a right to do that, to file for an eviction and tell you to leave their property if you're not willing to, of course, stop all the activity of whatever it is that you're doing. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, I want to definitely thank you all for tuning into this video. Again, this is Tonetta with Tonetta Buys Houses. Make sure that you, of course, contact me and call me if you have somebody that's, of course, looking to sell their house because of some type of need. They're being foreclosed on. They need money fast. They need money fast, of course, without having to fix up their property. That I'm a wholesaler and an investor. That's what I'm here to do. Of course, sell that house as is with no work being done to it for cash as well within 30 to 45 days. So definitely have them reach out to me either through the phone number that's on this page or just message me wherever you see this video is fine, and let me know what you need and how I can help you all. So again, I want to say thank you for tuning into this video. This was talking about evictions, the Missouri Landlord-Tenant Laws. So I just want to make sure that you all knew what this was about. Everybody take care. Thank you all. Bye-bye.